Oh, American politics, how I've missed you. Yeah, in Germany I've been mostly removed from all things political, mainly because their politics are really boring, but also because I'm not super active on Twitter, and that is our main lifeline to the commander-in-chief now. But turns out you can't hide from politics when you're back in the States, you know. It's on the TV, it's on the internet, it's on the TV. So yesterday I got my politics in the form of real-life human interaction, which sounds fake because who does that anymore? But no, it was awesome. So I went to Joe Biden's Promise Tour in Madison. So good, you guys. Joe Biden speaks with such intensity that it like arouses emotions in you didn't even know you had. Mainly empathy for other human beings. No, but when he was up there giving answers to the host, it was so clear that women's rights are an issue that he's cared deeply about his entire life. He was telling us this story of this model named Marla Hansen, whose landlord back in the day, 1980s, was constantly hitting on her, and she was turning down all of his, you know, moves. Sounds funny, right? Until you hear the next part, which is, one day when she did this, he hired 2 men to slash her face in with razors. Not so funny any longer. And when she told her friends and family about this, the one thing she heard echoed back were questions. Why did you go to a bar? What were you wearing? Is there anything you said that might have caused this? Essentially, all these things victim shaming her, saying what happened to you was your fault. So that was the America people were living in the 1980s. You know, so when Biden proposed the Violence Against Women Act in the 1990s, there wasn't that much support for it. He was ahead of the curve on women's issues, which is still more or less the case, right? With his It's On Us campaign. He gave a really good quote when someone was interviewing him about that, and it struck me. So I'm gonna read it for you guys now. Biden said, and I quote, "The issue is a woman should never have to ask herself, what did I do? A woman could get up, walk across the stadium stark naked, violate the laws of decency, but no man has a right to put a hand on her. Period, period, period." He just gets it. It's like he's reading my diary. No, but seriously, it's so good. It's a level of respect that every human should show every other human. Now contrast that to the man currently in charge. A man who has devalued women and reduced them to solely their appearances. Even his family members. This is a man who has literally built a business on comparing other women by their looks. A man who's fat-shamed Miss Universe. A man who has joked about sexual harassment and called it purely locker room talk. I remember the day that Trump got elected. I remember feeling physically sick that entire day. Obviously not just because a man was in office who I didn't want to be, but because it felt like half of my country was saying that the way he talked about women wasn't a deal breaker. That's okay. You know, it's fine if you make women second-class citizens. You know, we're cool with that. Women themselves voted for him. Women themselves. You know, I'm sorry, but what kind of backward psychology is that? That someone can tell you you will amount to nothing more than your looks, and you're like, I think that man should lead us. You know, like, what? And obviously this isn't even the tip of the iceberg, right? It's not just women he talked about. It was minorities, it was immigrants, it was everybody and all in between. But obviously this one hits close to home, right? I'm a woman. I care about my rights. I care about my lefts too, but I really care about my rights. You know, even more than what can be done on a political front, you know, the least you can grant people as citizens is a basic level of respect, which I do not see from Trump. You know, so he may be leading the country, but in my mind, he is not my president. I could never give my respect to somebody who doesn't respect women, to somebody who doesn't respect everyone like they would respect themselves. And that's why it was so refreshing to go to this talk by Biden yesterday, because he did care. He gets that all of our rights are inextricably linked. It was funny, Biden showed like all the characteristics of an actual leader without actually using the word leader, right? I feel like if he had wanted to, he could have asked everybody in that audience to follow him and we would have, right? And that's how an actual leader acts. He doesn't tweet out, "I'm great, I have a high IQ. Believe me, I'm the smartest." You know, he shows you. Frankly, I was inspired last night. You can see that because I've never gone on a rant like this before on my YouTube channel. She must be passionate. I don't know exactly where to channel all of these emotions right now, but I know that I should because Biden said, you know, he wanted more millennials engaged in the process, so by golly, I'm going to have a holly jolly political Xmas this year. And other than that, I'll be reading, I'll be scheming, I'll be going. Bye.